Hello, Paula. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to a new episode of Start It's Your Time podcast.
We need to stop saying the date, I think, of when we're doing this because I don't think we ever really know what day we're on ever. So it's like
I
we should
agree.
just we should just
Skip that part.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
skip that part because like oftentimes, like the day that we're recording is obviously not the day that we're launching the episode, and we're just confused with life and what day of the week that
life.
yeah, so let's just
Going forward, just hello.
bring on, let's just hello, yeah, diving right into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're talking today about like personal triggers. That's exciting, or like
Yeah.
stressful. I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
it's I think I'm happy to talk about it because I think and we had mentioned this in one of our other podcasts is that like you look at people and you can really like put people on a pedestal and sometimes it looks like people have it all figured out and
Yeah.
they're really just speaking from a place of um healing and that there's they've moved past it all and they're in
Issues,
such
yeah.
like a enlightened, yeah, like they're all enlightened now and they know all the strategies and like they're never triggered. And it's like, I don't think that's ever going to be real for anybody.
Mm,
Regardless of
mhm.
how much work or how much healing you've done, like there's always going to be things and where we always stand on that subject is around just like the self-awareness piece and
Yeah,
how you cope and how you deal. And it's not to get away from the trigger per se, it's to understand it and act accordingly and process accordingly and things like that. So yeah, I just thought it would be kind of interesting for us to talk about like what our personal triggers are and see if people can relate. um
yeah,
I think it helps people get to know us a bit better and also understand where a lot of the work is that we do, like where that's coming from and why we get so passionate about these things and essentially why we're here. Like we're here because we've done a lot of work, but it was
yeah,
because of these triggers that we've done this work. Yeah.
yeah,
Do
exactly.
you
And
want
I
to go
think
first and say yours?
I can. So one of them is like, I know it's like a trigger, but like it hasn't happened in so long because I'm no longer in a situation where it would happen, if that makes sense.
Right. Yep.
So essentially, like from a past relationship, I like we would go out, for example, and that other person, like my partner at the time, would like just vanish, like disappear. Like we'd
Oh,
be at like, for example, Wine Fest, and I would turn around and my partner would be gone, and I was just basically by myself and like just being like, aren't we here together? Like, what the
oh,
fuck? Like,
yeah.
and I remember
Yeah.
having this like pit in my stomach being like, I'm so embarrassed right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
here by myself and like you're just like around probably flirting with girls and I'm
Hmm.
just basically being left alone and I know that like sometimes we'll go out like Jam and I and he would never do that, like never.
No,
Not
no.
intentionally, like he
Yeah, yeah. And certainly not to go flirt with other girls. Like, certainly
never,
not.
never.
No,
Like he's such
no.
a friendly person, but I never felt like a line being crossed.
Yes.
And he would never like just leave me alone. And so,
Yes.
but still to this day, like sometimes when we go to places, it's like I have this little anxiety come up again because I'm like, is it going to happen? And
Mm,
I know it's not. And like
yeah.
I talked myself out of it, but like it used to be such like a trigger for me and it was causing me so much anxiety that like yeah, I still it's still something. Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And because like I've been around relationships for a long time that were like that, like where I'd go out with people and like that's what their boyfriends would do. And it was all under this like mask of like it's all fun, like oh, I'm just socializing, I'm just out there, like we're out, I want to like be out with the people and talk, and
Yeah,
like we're always together, so like it's fine because we came here together, we're going to go home together, but like while we're here I'm going to be. And to your point, like I always looked at that as like, but like don't you want to enjoy like your partner should be the person that like you are like lit up to see and like that you enjoy. And it's not to say you're ignoring other people, like,
no,
but it's also like you're there with them to enjoy them as well. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
yeah,
Yeah, I witnessed that a lot, and honestly, like from a third party, um, it is heartbreaking to watch. It is really sad because I'm sure I know exactly what it looked like for you because you were
yeah,
embarrassed and you were
yeah,
trying to not be embarrassed. You were trying to smile and like everything's okay and like keep the night going and it's all fun. But like the
yeah.
people who would have known you best would have saw that because I've seen it with people in my life where I was like, that's an act right now and she wants to cry basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's so many times that I just wanted to leave. And like at first, like in this new relationship, I remember being like so scared of like going out to places for this to happen. And I like, I don't know, I remember talking about it and he'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, this is not going to happen. But like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was just like, oh, like
And
such a
it's layered too, right? Because I'm sure when you talked about that with your ex, it was almost like totally invalidating your feelings, right? It's like, why would you feel that
I
way?
was
Like we're there to
crazy.
see our friends, and like it
I was
actually just like
crazy.
adds to why like now you feel like shit because then you start to feel like, am I really needy? Like am I being that way? Like, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like it makes you feel like you don't have the right to expect your partner to want to spend time with you when you're out at social events. It's like, why would you even have that expectation? And it's like, you
Exactly.
deserve to have that expectation.
Exactly. And like how many times have I heard the line like, you know I'm a flirt. Like you've known this about me forever. Like that's just who I am.
I'm dead.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Mhm.
Like,
So that is still like definitely something that like yeah, like I feel like I don't experience it anymore. So like obviously like I don't feel
no,
that trigger, but like yeah,
no.
yeah.
Steve
Mhm.
loves JM, by the way. He loves JM. He's like, I can tell he's like the nicest guy. Like, he really loves
The
him.
feeling is
So,
very mutual.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah. Um,
mhm,
so I was sharing that like some of my triggers. Well, I don't think I actually shared what some of my triggers are. I think I've said them kind of broadly where I didn't really specifically say. Um, but my triggers are two things that come to mind that I've dealt with forever now. And the first one being we use the word um narcissist in society, like I feel like it's so just thrown around
mhm,
casually.
mhm.
But the people who do have relationships with narcissists, like you know for sure if you have a relationship with a narcissist, like and
Yeah,
this isn't my husband, by the way. This is not I'm not describing him, it's somebody else in my life. um and I've put up a lot of boundaries around this person, but when you are dealing with them, you can feel totally crazy and you can feel like, because what a narcissist does is they really like will make things feel like everything is so good. Like, oh, everything is like, we're on these great terms and like, oh my gosh, like you're the best. And like, oh, I'm so like into what you're doing. And oh my gosh, and really
mhm,
prop you up. Like they really, and then you realize that after dealing with them is like, oh, like they wanted something from me, that's why they were doing that. There was always like a motive behind why they do those things, and it's how they can feed
Mhm.
whatever it is that they're doing for themselves. And so it's not genuine at all, but they're just so great at doing it. And then what my second trigger is, that what inevitably happens when you're dealing with people like this is the gaslighting that happens is
Mm,
wild. And if you have experienced it, like, consider yourself lucky. But it is around like when you are feeling a certain way, and it's kind of what I just described to you as like invalidating your feelings, but it's almost a step further than that, to say like that didn't happen, that's not real,
right.
that didn't happen that way at all. And rewriting history of like what happened that like led you to this point for you to be able to speak up for yourself, to say like I don't feel good about this. But so it's not just, again, it's not invalidating your feelings to be like, oh well, you shouldn't feel that way, that wasn't my intention. It's literally saying like that didn't happen, you are making that up in your head right now, that's not real. And you can't, what I've learned over many many years is like you can't argue with a person like that, like you
No,
can't, it's
you're
not
never
worth
going to
your
win.
energy, your time.
No.
No, and like you're gonna feel crazy and you're gonna
Yeah.
feel like you're circling the drain. And like, so those are my two biggest triggers, are people who are narcissists. And I will say, like, I know, like I said, there, that word gets thrown around, but I've only ever met a couple, truly, who are, and it is like borderline like sociopath behavior. Like it's crazy to deal with.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then just people like completely gaslighting you, telling you that the things that you know have happened aren't how it happened. And so like you're really blowing things out of proportion, like you're really, yeah, dramatizing things or whatever. Like that's my two biggest triggers.
Mm, they're real. Yeah, that's big ones. There's a good book that I read about narcissists, and it's called "It's Not You: Identifying and Healing from Narcissistic People." It's really good.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing about dealing with those people is like you, again, we always come back to like the self awareness piece. And when you gain self awareness for yourself, it's not just for you where you get to understand yourself better, but you also get to understand other people better. And so when you detach from those relationships and you see people fully as they are, and not only from the relationship that you're in with them, but just as they are and how they walk around the world and how, what their values are, how they treat people, like you are able to totally disconnect from that relationship, which is where the healing is, right? Like when you really
Mm,
see someone fully, and it's not about, because what happens, a narcissist, you only think like they're treating you this way. Like when you're in that relationship, you're like, what? And that's where people have, that like, I'm not good enough. And what did I do to deserve this? And I must have done something, and all that stuff that comes with that. But when you detach from that and you see the person as like, this is how they treat people that they love, like, this is
yeah.
crazy. Right. And like, when you get to understand them better, you realize like it's not about you. It's not you. It has nothing to actually do with you at all, like at all. And there's healing in that.
Mm,
Yeah. So it's a lot. If you have dealt with like a narcissist, like there is a lot of work to be done. And if you're recognizing that you're in a relationship with a narcissist, or you have people in your life who are narcissists, like please, like if you haven't really gone down that path of like doing that like self personal development work, like please start, because you don't
yeah.
deserve that, and you don't, like that's not a relationship that you can sustain or that you should maintain, and it just needs to go.
Yeah.
Boundaries, boundaries.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Another one for me, like, I think it's like, and this is like tricky because I know that people's opinion of me are none of my business.
Hmm.
But I think someone like accusing me of something I didn't do or didn't say, or like
Mm.
of being a person that I know deep down that I'm not, I have a hard time not like stepping up for myself and being like,
Mhm.
what the fuck? Like, I have a hard
Okay.
time, like, despite knowing that the only opinion that matters is mine, like, despite knowing all of this, if I would like hear someone like say something like publicly or like whatever about like my character and like I know that it's not true, like I'd have like a hard time to like not like address it. Like
Okay.
it's still something that I feel like I really want to talk to that person, but I'm like, you know what? Like it's not worth like my time and energy and whatever. But like, yeah, I that is definitely one for me
It's
too.
That's funny that you say that because like as you said that, like that's work I've done my whole life. Like I do feel like I've always there's always been a different narrative about me. Like to
Yeah,
a
you
lot
did
of
say that one time.
yeah, there's always been somebody in my life telling me who I am when I know that that's not true.
Yeah.
And like so and as I've grown up and like I feel like there's always a different take on me than what I know is genuinely authentic. And so
Yeah.
that really actually rolls off my back. Like I actually am like that is the least of my concern, but it's all in like like because I've had to work on it for so long and because I recognized it at very young to be like that's not true. Like I definitely couldn't spend my whole life fighting that. Do you know what I mean? Like I had to let that go. Where that probably came maybe later in life for you and
Mm,
like a trigger of something like that where you felt the need to like fight it. And so it gets
yeah.
brought up for you. But that's definitely something like I've let go.
And something else too now that we're talking, like it's like, oh yeah, that too, I guess. When
Pull the
someone
trigger.
is like when someone is like hurting someone that I love, like whether
Mm,
it's like physically or like reputation or like verbally, like I become like a monster.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
Like I remember someone saying like someone said something like to JM one time like a couple years ago and I was fuming. I
Mm,
was ready to like get in my car and drive. When this happens, I feel like I'm like a 6 foot giant and I'm like, I'm ready to friggin' attack. And I remember him being like, I'm not even bothered about this.
yeah.
Why are you? Like,
Yeah.
just let it go. And I'm like, no, like I can't. It's unfair. Like,
I am so the same. And it's funny that you say that because it is why I think like if I think about people in my life who've had relationships and like really terrible breakups
yeah,
and things just done to them that were really wrong, like even though it wasn't my experience, like I can talk about it like it was my experience because and like if you were to ask the people in my life like when things happen to them, like if my friend comes to me and says something like I'm crying probably before they are because
yeah,
and I don't even cry and you know this about me like my own personal stuff like it's hard for me to cry and be emotional like it has to cut deep
yeah,
for that to happen.
yeah,
But when it comes to my friends and the people in my life like Steve and like all the people in my life that are closest to me,
yeah,
um my kids, everybody, like if something has wronged them, I am
yeah,
either like the Hulk, like I will I will move a mountain to get to whoever hurt you. And like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Or like
yeah,
if my friends are sad or like my kids are sad or anybody, like I'm like it's like it's happening to me. Like I'm wounded, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what that like I don't know. It's definitely empathy for sure, but like it's yeah, my friends have said like calm down. Like, do you know what I mean? Like this happened to me. Like why are and I'm like no. Like
Yeah.
unacceptable. Yeah.
And it's almost like, especially if it's like JM, or like if it would be like Amelia, I'd be like almost like, I want that pain. Like I don't want you to go through
Yes.
it. It's almost like I somehow feel like I don't know, like I would manage it better, although it's not even affecting him. Like it's
Yes.
just so weird. Yeah.
I know. It's funny that you
Yeah.
say that because when my girls are sick, I always say that to them. I'm like, I wish mommy could just take it from you. I would take it from you in a second. And like my oldest now is like, Mom, I can keep this. Like, it's like a conversation we have now because I always say it, and she's like, Mom, like, it's fine. It's a cold. Like, because I'm always like, like, don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's hard when it comes to the people closest to you. It's like you just want to protect them from literally everything. And
Mm,
that's not always like you have to let people feel their things too. And like I find for myself, like I get into that like protector mode, and like it's not always healthy for me either. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you need to
yeah.
reel back. Like this is life.
Yeah.
People have to go on their journeys, and like I can't be
Yeah.
like that protector. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, anyways. But yeah, I think for like another trigger for me, I will say is around like when I really struggle when people like how can I put this? This how would I word this? If people are like comparing other people, like so that is something that has happened a lot where it's like um I'll just use an example. Like if I were to be with my girls and like almost like how can I say this? Like I grew up in an environment where I have siblings and like there is always like a level of competition for
Mhm.
like who deserves attention basically, like who is worthy. And so when people in my life, especially having two girls, are like if I notice that people are putting like attention on one versus the other, like
Mm,
that for me, like not treating them completely equal,
equal.
right, is such like it's probably honestly my number one trigger. It's because it is
Mm,
so deep rooted because I do have siblings, and it is just something that like it's always been a factor in my life, and it's something I only saw as I got older that that was happening, and I removed myself from it. But like if I see that happening today, and even Steve can say something like to one of and it's so innocent and nobody would take it as a comparison, do you know what I mean, or anything
yeah.
like that. It's and the girls wouldn't even take it that way, but if I hear something that has a thread of like anything, like oh, let's say like oh my youngest she's not swimming as well as my oldest did at this age. Let's just say like
Okay.
something stupid,
Yeah.
okay? So
Yeah.
even something like that, I'm like, I will
Yeah.
cut you. Like I
I
don't like just
see.
don't. Like just they are two separate people. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like there's no comparison. Like let them live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's huge for
Yeah.
me.
Mm,
Yeah.
I can get that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Um,
hard when you have multiple kids, and like it is inevitable like when kids go through different milestones and different stages, and like that level of comparison I think happens naturally for a lot of people, but like for me it's like, and I think for other people it's like it's innocent, it's not a big deal, but for me it's a big deal. It does,
mm,
your triggers don't have to make sense fully to other people for them to be a trigger. Like you don't need to validate your
no.
triggers, they just are what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And I think another one for me is as we're talking, I'm like, oh shit, like I have quite a few. It's like, and we talked about this like so much over the last week or so. It's like people that are over promising and under delivering. I have a
Yes.
really hard time with that. And I think it's because I hold myself to such like a high standard when it comes to like what I say and like the commitments that I make to people. Like it's like if I'm
Yeah.
telling you I'm going to do this, like I'm going to do it. And if you're telling me that you're going to do this, like I'm expecting that you're going to
Yeah.
do this, especially if I'm investing like time and money. It's like I see it as like a big like disrespect and just like like basically just discarding like my opinion or like my satisfaction, I guess, towards
Yeah.
something. Like, yeah, I have a hard time with that.
You
Mhm.
do definitely, I mean, valid, I think. Like, again, like,
Yeah.
not that your triggers need to be valid to other people, but I do think that's
Yeah.
valid because I know exactly the circumstance you're talking about. And I do think
Yeah.
that's valid. Especially, like you said, when time, energy, care is going into something and somebody's saying that they're going to provide something and it's just not happening. Like, and that can be in any situation, like in relationships and things like that. It's like when
Yeah.
you're putting something out there and you're expecting that in return,
Yeah.
and people don't bring that same level of care and energy back, like that can be super triggering and it does definitely create resentment.
Yes.
Yes,
100%.
and fair.
Yeah.
But all that to say, like, I think what's really important and what I love about our membership is that, hold on, I'm gonna I don't know if that okay. What I love about our membership is that we are very honest about what our triggers are. Our triggers are something that we really try to reflect on, that we create boundaries around in certain situations. And it's something that we are just like, I feel like it's like working out a muscle in terms of like self-awareness and mindfulness and
Yeah.
compassion for yourself. Like that's what the membership is all about, is just like always coming back to those things, because when shit inevitably hits the fan and when life happens, like you have these muscles and these tools that you can just
Mhm.
go to instantly, so that like you're not spending time spiraling and time is not passing you by and the years aren't passing you by feeling like you can't connect to yourself again and that you're not living your best life because you're stuck in these triggers that are constantly coming up for you. Like, although Renee and I have triggers, like we recognize them, we know what gets us going, and we also know like how to speak to ourselves to move out of those feelings, right? Like it's okay to
Yeah.
have those feelings and they come, but it's also like, okay, how do I move on from this now? Versus
Mm.
like, you 5 years ago or me, years ago of being triggered and then spending years, and I have spent years being angry, like
Mm.
resentful and angry. And like I don't have those feelings anymore. Like I just don't, because I've worked that out. Doesn't mean I don't get triggered, doesn't mean I don't have my moments, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely not spending time feeling the way that I was feeling before. Like I am free of that now, which is something that like it's because of the work and always coming back to it that is so important. So it's just important to understand that like it's not to get rid of the trigger, it's just to understand like what to do when it comes up again.
Mm. That's so good. And it's
And
so
that's why we're
true.
here.
That's why we're here. I love it. Also, having a
That's
friend
it.
that you can like bounce your triggers with is really nice.
Very important. And recognizing like, wow, we have a lot of triggers.
Yes. Mhm. Yep.
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
But
And
that's
that's
okay.
cool.
That is okay. There's nothing wrong. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, curious to hear about your triggers if you ever want to share. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. If you are listening audio and you share it, don't forget to tag us. You can send it to a friend. Thank you so much for just being here, listening, working on yourselves. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Talk soon.
All right. Bye.